Hey, this is DJ Shadow, and I'm on Billboard.com. I guess the main difference when I started working on the record was that I went off and sort of secluded myself. I really felt like I needed to do that to relearn how to structure my day in a way that isn't dedicated to constantly answering emails and checking my phone and all those distractions that we all have now. I like album titles that have multiple meanings. Certainly on a day-to-day basis, you know, I find myself stranded at an airport or something, and for no apparent reason they have cable news just blasting my ear off, and you can't escape it. And the messaging I get as a human being every day is that my life is incomplete unless I have this new phone or this new app. All I'm trying to do is just say, well, maybe that's not the healthiest message to be receiving on a daily basis. The first track is called Back to Front, in parentheses, circular logic. It's kind of one of those classic, kind of more hard-hitting, one of those beats that come on and you just want to start nodding your head instantly. It's not like, you know, hitting you with something really left field right out the gate. It's just more kind of like, okay, you're going to hear some cool beats on this record, and there's a little bit of scratching and stuff as well, just to kind of calibrate people and remind them where I come from before we start going off down different roads. Second track is called Border Crossing. This is a track actually that has its roots all the way back in 2006. I always really liked that track and brought it up, and instantly within like 2 hours found all the elements I needed to finish the track. From the first in hell, a child let out a cry. Some say cause we in hell till we die. Track 3 is Stay the Course with Posthumous from De La Soul and Talib Kweli. Two MCs that I think, you know, just have a timeless quality to the way they approach their craft. They don't have any particular, you know, they're not about trends. They're just really good writers and really talented MCs. And I kind of, on this record, that's all I wanted to have on my record, was people that were dedicated to their craft. I've been trying to get you to love me. Track 4 is called Ive Been Trying. It's 100% samples, and I actually mixed it at home. And when we took it in the studio, I hesitate to call him my mixer or anything. He's a famous producer, this guy Jim Abbas. He just basically, after about 6 hours of beating his head against the wall, he just went, it's fine, you know, like I'm not adding anything to this, it's mixed. Which was kind of a nice validation for me, because I really don't feel that comfortable helming a full-fledged mix in a big studio. I still feel like there's a lot I need to learn, but that was a nice validation. I'm sad and I'm lonely. Sad and Lonely is an interesting track because the vocalist is a sample from a record from the 50s. Her name was Susan Reed. My favorite thing to try and achieve on any record is having moments of real intense darkness and then also really intense beauty. And I think this track really fulfills the latter. This is the greatest thing you're ever likely to achieve. Warning Call was a track that I had laying around as an instrumental. I just felt, you know, as much as I wanted it to be instrumental, it just wasn't going to be everything it could be without vocals. From the moment it starts to the moment it ends, it's one of the rare times where I work on a song and I regret nothing. Like I feel like I made all the right decisions. I very rarely feel like I couldn't have done better at some point, but that's one that I feel wholeheartedly is like, okay, I couldn't do better than that track. Tedium is one of many tracks that I had laying around in some form or another over the last 2 years. And during the course of the record, you know, there's a lot of songs that have fairly conventional kind of arrangements, and I like that it kind of comes in and for 2.5 minutes just kind of meanders. I feel like it opens up some space on the album. Enemy Lines is another one of my favorites on the record. It's really slow and dirgy and heavy. This is one of the rare examples where I'll sample a known act. They're a heavy metal band from the UK called Nazareth.
Here we are now, at the middle.
Going Nowhere is simply a little short interlude really summarizes the first half and introduces the second half of the record. It seems like I work on this really kind of heavy, weighty material, and then at a certain point near the end of the record, I get sort of fed up and I just do a track that's, it's like just a big release. I also feel like that's important to have on the record is different energies so that it doesn't start feeling too weighted down by, any kind of pretension or my own rules. Run for Your Life best represents where I think I've come in terms of using samples and making it feel like a band. I think in the past I would have tried too hard to kind of put my producer stamp on it. I think I've learned through the years to kind of put a lot of energy into other facets of the arrangement and just let it breathe a little bit.
Give me back the nights! The nights!
The depth of despair on the record is a song called Give Me Back the Nights. I don't even know whether to call it poetry or it's a spoken word performance. If I play it to one person, they almost start laughing and like looking at me like, is he serious? And then when I play it to more serious, music heads, they look at me and they're like, whoa, this shit's crazy. I Gotta Rock was the first proper single in the UK. I think it's just the right amount progressive and just the right amount just heavy. It seems like a lot of different disciplines of dance music can kind of relate to it, so it seems to have kind of caught on pretty well.
I swear I saw blue lights.
Scale It Back is the track that features Little Dragon. I had met the lead vocalist Yukimi Nagano years and years ago when she was singing for another band. Fast forward a couple of years and I went to a record store, bought a bunch of music, and my favorite thing was 45 that they did, Little Dragon. And I looked them up and saw a picture of her and I was like, wait a minute, I know that person. And put two and two together and finally realized that, I had met her on several occasions prior. So when they came to San Francisco the next time, I just went out to see them and introduced myself and hung out, and that's how that came about. Circular Logic is kind of like a good, here's what I stand for in 2011. It's hard to say new things with scratching, I feel like sometimes these days, especially I don't consider myself a virtuoso. I also feel like it's important to represent scratching as a DJ. Not So Sad and Lonely is a remix that one of my best friends did of Sad and Lonely. And at some point in the process of trying to work out the sequence of songs, I thought it was a really nice final touch. It leaves it on a really nice, sort of exhale.